Kuai Liang's trust.
Your brother? Why did he try to kill you?
He was corrupted long ago, but now I have the chance to save him. The Lin Kuei owe you much, Taven. I will help you find the men who have been hunting you. They are called the Red Dragon, a clan of mysterious warriors. I can't help you get inside their base, but I can reveal its location.
So Taven goes to Charred Mountain, where their base resides, and he comes face to face with the organization's leader.
Dagon! Dagon! You look older.
I am older. Much older than you, big brother. I formed the Red Dragon clan many ages ago.
Why would you send your clan after me?
Isn't it obvious? I intend to kill you.
What?
The prize will be mine, Taven. I will not risk losing it to you.
Let's go.
The Red Dragon have found Blaze. Dagon runs away, leaving his henchman Movado to kill Taven, which of course he fails at. Taven continues running amok through the base, even freeing Kato from his prison, since the guy's been here ever since Deadly Alliance. Apparently they wanted to turn him into this half-human, half-dragon hybrid monster, because when you have access to mad science, you use it, damn it. Anywho, at the end of the base, Taven finds Karo, Dagon's dragon protector, who he's locked up in chains, forcing the creature to kill 40 soldiers rather than Dagon. The Red Dragon explains how everything got all mixed up. See, when Blake was captured by the Dragon King's volcano cult, Karo believed that something was wrong and actually
Dagon was unbalanced. He was outraged and manipulated by your friends and demanded to know the true purpose of the place.
The portal Dagon used to escape is still open, so Taven follows after and finds himself in the Netherrealm. He meets up with Shinnok and is surprised to learn that the Elder Man banished him here. And the guy was put back here millions of years ago. He had no idea. Of course, he doesn't find out the real reason Shinnok's been cast out, so Taven agrees to help him reclaim his tower from Shokan like Shiva and Kintaro. After doing so, Shinnok sends him back to Earthrealm, where he expects him to be trapped forever. Shinnok's been aware of Argus's plan for millennia. The fallen Elder God has failed to conquer everything because both the forces of light and Shao Kahn's army are fighting futile to stop. However, if either Taven or Dagon will accomplish their task, all of his enemies will be eliminated in one fell swoop. So he aligns with Dagon to give him the advantage and manipulate everyone else to march him through. How do you unite Onaga the Dragon King to cooperate with Shao Kahn, who must also cooperate with the Deadly Alliance? You tell them about the prize. You mention the fact that it's not just Taven or Dagon who can win. Anybody who destroys the fire elemental will gain its power. So Shinnok tells this to Onaga, frees him from his wound, and suggests that the Dragon King suck it up and team up with his enemies. He communicates to all of the evil bad guys about this team up, which somehow attracts the attention of Johnny Cage of all people. And in the Armageddon bios, Johnny somehow received visions of Shinnok's multiple communication attempts and finds out that he's going to Shang-Tsung's island. He shows up and spies on Shinnok, explaining everything about the pyramid and Blaze, telling his blinky-hole plan to a resurrected Chi. Johnny catches Shinnok off guard, successfully defeats the guy, forcing the Elder Man to retreat. Perhaps this was all a ruse, and Shinnok is the one responsible for Shannon's visions. Here's the thing. The point is, Johnny tells all his friends what's going on, they all agree to team up and meet the bad guy in the canyon. Now, Shinnok planned on trapping Taven in Earthrealm by ordering Quan Chi to murder his As the forces of darkness march to the final battle, Taven gets interrupted by an unexpected enemy.
Do not go through that portal.
Raiden, you look different. We must not stand idly by. We must stop this.
No, Taven. I have struck a deal with the Emperor. Shao Kahn will honor Earthrealm's independence when his forces have won.
What are you saying? Why would that lunatic spare Earthrealm?
Because in return, I will prevent you from completing your quest.
By the way, this is the start of what I call the dumbass Raiden arc, because boy oh boy does this guy make some bonehead decisions going forward. Taven defeats Raiden and enters the portal, finding himself in the presence of Scorpion. And Hanzo, well, let's just say he is once again super angry.
My big friend. Revenge against me? Against yourself?
So yeah, Scorpion's been dragging pure fucking universe mode because his family are mindless zombies. What a note for him to go out on in this timeline. Taven successfully defeats Scorpion, which prompts not only Dagon to appear, but Blaze as well. In order to transport him to another crater, the final battle is about to begin.
This time my victory is assured. The only thing that is assured is that you will pay for killing mother and father. I had to. Lord Shinnok warned me that they had decided to assist you. Over the prize? With the very weapons father gave us to use against Blaze. And now I will use them to destroy you. Fight!
It's an emotional battle between the two brothers, but Taven comes out on top. Now only he can defeat Blaze. Theoretically.
But you must not let anyone else come back. Then allow me to win, and we'll put an end to this. Go to
Wow! You guys came up with. And at this point, the forces of light and the forces of darkness meet up in the crater, and they just completely go to war. It's also the greatest opening to any Mortal Kombat ever. Also, some of you may be asking, wait, why is Shinnok there? Don't he get destroyed at Dagon won the prize? You're right. But as we find out in Shinnok's non-canon ending, he actually sent a doppelganger in his stead. That's some 4D chess right there, I gotta say. But anyway, eventually, as everyone is killing each other, a gigantic pyramid rises from out of the ground. At the top sits Blaze, who under Delegate's advanced sorcery has transformed into a hulked out super Yeah, but Blaze, now Taven has to run a super long distance to reach the pyramid, and everybody else is already at the fucking thing! Again, there are so many combatants and the fight is so intense that people are struggling to even climb this damn thing without killing one another. All right, just puking on everybody, they're flaming on each other's back, even the bad guys give up the pretense and just start going after each other. It's a battle royale. Taven, he certainly gave it everything he got. He made it right to where Blaze was, and then... Oh no. Shao Kahn made it to the top. He reached the fire elemental before anyone else, And you know, as powerful as Blaze is, he's still dealing with Shao Kahn the Conqueror. Blaze's power flows into the Emperor, making an already dangerous man that much worse. His strength is increased tenfold, essentially turning him into a god. Shao Kahn is now unstoppable. Raiden, the only other person left alive, can only look in horror as he realizes what a terrible mistake he's made.
My venom spreads. It is the end of all things. Armageddon. Stop!
Shao Kahn eventually kills Raiden and then goes on to merge every single realm with Outworld. The universe enters an endless age of darkness, one where Shao Kahn eventually goes insane. Because apparently, when you have nothing left to conquer, that's just gonna happen. What an ending to the original timeline of Mortal Kombat. But wait, I left a detail out. As Shao Kahn was throwing Raiden around like a rag doll, the Thunder God's medallion ended up breaking into pieces. The Earthrealm Protector clutches its fragments, invoking a special incantation. One that will send a message to himself.
Move forward, and I say, he must win.
So now, folks, we've arrived at the second timeline. We've arrived at Mortal Kombat, which was released in 2011. Most people just refer to it as Mortal Kombat 9. Now, if you've been counting along, you might be a bit confused. Wasn't Armageddon the 7th game in the series? Yes, it was. But in between, NetherRealm did develop a special crossover game in the form of Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. This had our favorite combatants crossing fists with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and all the other super-powered individuals. It's supposed to take place between MK3 and MK4, but it's very non-canon. I mean, the game ends with Shao Kahn being stuck in the DC universe and then getting locked away into the Phantom Zone. Also, for some reason, the bios say that Shao Kahn and Raiden are brothers. What? Did someone do their homework with the movies?
Shao Kahn is my brother.
Well, either way, I'm skipping this entry. The video's way too long as it is. So Mortal Kombat 9 is what we like to call a soft reboot. Yes, it is resetting everything about the story, taking it back to basics, and starting all over. However, it is still in continuity with everything that came before. When Armageddon Raiden talked into his broken medallion, this message was sent all the way back to the original game's
yes, sir, let's go.
Version of himself. MK9 is essentially a retelling of the first three
Esa
games.
motherfucker, este cabrón ahí,
Everything that's
se
going
cagó.
to happen. For example, before Scorpion battles Sub-Zero,
Qué petacicote, mira este.
informs him of the outcome,
Hadouken.
and how Bi-Han will transform
Cada vez que
into
este cabrón se pone las manos para arriba, es como Hadouken sale ahí de los sobacos ahí, mira, que peste. How the fuck is this van in front of me? Damn. Reset with the quickest. Fuck up out of here, boy.
Mythologies is still canon to 9, 10, and 11. The characters still reference that adventure game
Whoa.
1997. Anywho, Raiden's a little confused because the only direction his future self takes.
Everybody got fed up over there. Damn, 2 laps?
Really?
Tighten up.
Never thought to just
Fuck this van. Fuck everybody. Hey, yo, that car fucked up. Damn, get out of my fucking way.
At that point, Shang Tsung gets his appearance in
Shit!
They decide to capture Sub-Zero and stylize him. What? Raiden, what are you doing? And then Raiden takes off with Sub-Zero and they successfully roboticize the guy. Good lord. Eventually the finals of the tournament arrive, but since Liu Kang didn't prevent Armageddon, Raiden turns to the
Damn. No.
Stop this deadly alliance.
Now they're just fucking with me.
After his prideful and tongue out is, this is the moment he said Raiden. Finally, he's going to prove why he's worthy of sharing his ancestors' name. The Shaolin defeats both Shang Tsung, Dachi, and Kintaro. They can't help but boast towards the disappointing crowd.
Fucking play with me, boy. Get out of my way, motherfuckers.
To avenge his friend.
You will die. I'm gonna leave you alone, you know, cause we chilling right now. Yeah, hey, yo. What the fuck? So, I hope that was a mistake on your part.
But of course we know that he definitely isn't. And thus, Sindel is resurrected to kick off the plot of Mortal Kombat 3. And you remember how
Mortal
that
Kombat. Damn. Fuck you. Fucking myself up over here. Cars didn't stand a chance. They will die. Hit them brakes and you will fucking die. Shit.
This is the single biggest mistake Raiden makes throughout all of Mortal Kombat. Before we get to that though, at some point the ball ends up crossing paths with the tigerized Sub-Zero and successfully defeats him in a fight. That's when Raiden and Smoke appear and then proceed to save and reprogram the Flying. Since the bad guys don't realize that Sub-Zero is good again, he infiltrates them in order to find out what they're up to. After he stumbles upon those sacrificial soldiers,
Damn, I get around with you. Go ahead. Fuck. Stupid. You gotta be.
The full name starts out, so Nightwolf tells Sub-Zero to make a run for it. Then he proceeds to battle Liu Cyber, undercutting the motherfucker into the whirlwind of death. Surprisingly, this magic doesn't like his own weapons getting gone. But Tornado actually dissipates. Yep. Raiden accidentally kills the Chosen One. He kills Liu Kang. Christ. And
Damn.
Quan Chi takes advantage of this and turns the Mortal Kombat champion into a Revenant as well. Holy hell, Raiden, you fumbled the bag so badly. But finally, Shao Kahn stepped through the portal and Raiden surrenders. At least at the very end, he was correct. The Elder Gods finally step in and proceed to destroy the Outworld Conqueror at long last. And there are no clones or dark magic that can undo this. The Emperor is truly obliterated. Jesus Christ, everyone is
Hey, yo, Smokey! Get your ass out of here.
That takes us to my personal favorite game in the series, Mortal Kombat 10. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, when I chose to do the insane lore of Mortal Kombat, I was most interested in covering everything.
Yo, what the fuck is this bullshit? Get your bitch ass out of here, nigga. Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Just watch a story mode and you get the big gist of it. Mortal Kombat 10 introduces
You had to go, yo.
and those add so much personality to every single character in the game. Even the jobbers like Reptile and Homer, it just gives them so much more depth than they've ever had before. And there's so many cool twists and so many cool things that happen with Mortal Kombat 10. The story mode alone just doesn't cover enough. These games I'm going to talk about in those twists. I'm just going to condense them and go through them really, really quickly because you can buy these games right now. They're probably the most fresh in people's heads.
Damn it. Turn, bitch.
Mortal Kombat 10 is essentially the Mortal Kombat 4 of the second timeline. Although, when you download this shit on class, it's about $1 because we just put some amazing
You motherfucker.
Blade and Raiden and Fujin and Tenshi, who's joined them, is battling with Quan Chi and all of his new buddies, the forces of light, have been turned into robots. And then Johnny Cage, he goes to protect Sunny from when Shinnok's powerful blast, and it turns out his green energy field, the green energy power that he's always had, can resist Shinnok's powers. It turns out that being part of the military and possible threat to battle the gods, they were specifically talking about Shinnok. So Johnny Cage has a special advantage against Shinnok.
Damn alright they do.
Shinnok has the ability to suck people into it and keep them trapped there forever if loses some desires to. Johnny Cage manages to get the amulet to Raiden. Raiden sucks up
Yo, this fucking turn right here.
traps him in the
Fuck you, you little bitch. Mama huevos. Bitch. She called me Johnny. Johnny be good. You really trying to over? Yo, yeah. I got them two. Okay.
Actually incorporate them into a relationship. They actually fall for each other. Being the survivors of Mortal Kombat, they bond and get close. And then eventually, on a mission towards the Netherrealm, they find Quan Chi as well
Mama fingers, mama huevos.
and Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero, in particular, is no longer a robot. I guess Quan Chi can just get him out of his robotic shell and put him back into human form. So, in case you're wondering why he wasn't a robot for the rest of the series, Quan turns them back into being human. And this is the first time ever that Hanzo Hasashi is no longer an undead specter since, like, the first stage of mythology. So that's kind of interesting. And then, we jump ahead where Johnny Cage and Sonya and all the characters you know and love are much older and all had kids. Combat kids, to be precise.
Got the sport car, you know what I'm saying? You fucking install that fucking motherfucker, man. The Rammer. Shirai Ryu.
Johnny Cage and Sonya got married.
Hell yeah.
A daughter named Cassie Cage, who
Elbow macaroni, motherfuckers.
Special Forces agent, as well as a
damn, what was the bonus target I missed? You son of a bitch.
Like her dad, you know. Jax, having been turned PTSD, he got really
shit this far.
And
I'm only in the amateur, about to finish the amateur.
And they get married, and then
about to unlock, yeah.
Named Jacqueline Briggs.
That's it, man.
Both Cassie and Jacqueline joined.
I ain't really played this shit much because I just upgraded to the PS5 version, obviously, as you see.
A woman named Suchin, they fell in love.
But I have had the PS4 version forever. But I was mad that they charging motherfuckers to upgrade. I was like, yo, y'all gotta give me that shit for free. That's fucked up.
And so, in order to
all the time they've been doing this shit when they upgrade something.
Hanzo Hasashi, who is starting,
but it was on sale, so you know I got it cheap. So that's the only reason I've upgraded.
And he was trained by Scorpion.
And they let me transfer, not that I did much, but they let me transfer the game save from the PS4 to the PS5.
Coolest of the combat kids.
I got brand new fucking games that came out after this shit that don't even let you do that shit. Dying Light 2. I ain't saying no names.
By Raiden, who encourages him to join the White Lotus.
Alien Elite, Fire Team Elite, whatever the fuck. Ain't saying no names.
I can't. They won't accept. They care only about what is in your heart, not
but whatever
what your heart desires.
He eventually becomes part of the Shadow.
The Hateful Eight, was it?
Becomes a dedicated
damn, I ain't got no cards for that.
So he uses a bow and arrow.
What is this?
Kind of unique as well.
What is that?
Like the combat kids.
Oh, I did the whole top. Oh no, I did it.
Like that Mortal
damn,
Kombat was taking the story further down the time.
Madman Stadium. I like the sound of that. Super Van.
Age these characters up a bit, you know. Let's give them all kids. Let's have things.
I have to use this shit.
Change, like with Outworld, because Shao Kahn has been destroyed by.
Can I hook? Wait.
So what happened to that place? Well, at first, you know, the lineage passed on to his only daughter.
Yeah, really? Fuck it, I got money.
But everyone found that Melina was a terrible ruler, and they didn't like serving under her. And so a person
thanks for nothing. That's what she said.
Would have died in Shang Tsung's flesh pits if Shang Tsung himself was.
Damn, I unlocked everything. Alright, bitch. Put that shit out, yo.
Part of the Aztec realm. He's got all
that's
the Mayan features. I think he actually shows up in
that's it.
Is mistaken for Mayans or whatever.
Kinda
he decides to plan a coup along with his chitin associate Devora, who is this creepy bug lady who can puke bugs into your mouth and kill you that way. It's very disgusting, but she's fucking cool. She's one of the best new characters. Any Reptile, Ermac, they all turn.
Oh yeah, nah, I used it one time before.
But his ass gets killed for it. Melina makes a getaway so that she can create a rebellion later, but Kotal becomes
what we got layers?
Khan. He becomes Kotal Khan. He rules over Outworld.
Man, I'm gonna keep it simple, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Ends up attacking Kotal one day.
That's it, all black.
Ends up attacking him with Shinnok's amulet, which
yes, sir, yes, sir.
She should definitely not have. It turns out.
Well, obviously, you know, this shit got online, but I ain't really fuck with it online.
Outworld. The Special Forces.
I could buy new cars, man. What am I?
Decide to get involved.
This shit said not eligible. How the fuck is it not? This is the car that it just making me pick.
And Melina gets a kiss of death from Devora, and Melina is killed. It is very gross. But Kotal shows how vicious and how brutal of a ruler he can be.
Do I have to take the upgrade off?
You Earthrealmers, you let this medallion, this amulet, get swiped from under your noses. Well, I'm keeping it now, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Shoplifters will be decapitated.
Wow, it was too crazy.
A again,
they wouldn't go let me enter. That's fucking oh yo.
It's just how things roll over here. But
I didn't even realize that shit till right now. The armor.
Turns out to be a traitor. Uh-oh, she's actually working for Shinnok.
Nah,
she's
yo.
Quan Chi. She gets the amulet and she tries to get it to Quan Chi.
I gotta check that shit for the other cars there.
Jax when he decides to enter the Nether Realm and beat his ass. So Quan Chi is in the prison. And that's when Scorpion shows up because Scorpion finds out from Sub-Zero that Quan Chi killed his family. And
well, let's go then.
This is another development I really love. This is a game in which Scorpion and Sub-Zero have a tea party. And they just explain their differences, and Sub-Zero.
Yeah, I've seen that shit. That's fucking bullshit.
Lin Kuei's complicity.
Oh, one of these.
Apologizes that the Lin Kuei had a hand in eliminating his family and clan, and Hanzo and Kuai Liang are actually
let's go, motherfuckers!
Buddies in Mortal Kombat 10 and Mortal Kombat 11, and I love that.
Oh, yo, why the fuck this nigga got a whole bus?
I love that they're the best of friends going forward.
Oh no.
But anyway, nothing will stop Scorpion from getting his revenge. He goes to kill Quan Chi, but Devore shows up just in time to throw the amulet to him so he can enhance his spell to release Shinnok. Scorpion does kill Quan Chi. It's awesome because, you know, we've been wanting Scorpion to kill Quan Chi for a very, very long time in the series. He actually does it. But there's a bittersweetness to this, not just because Shinnok is out, but also... Gee, Sindel, all of them. Their stuff is reverence now. They can't be saved. They can't be cured. They are forever being. It's just like, oh no. Anyway, the game ends with Shinnok.
That's fucked up.
The Jinsei is, I guess, the spiritual life force of Earthrealm, and he becomes a weird rock monster. But Cassie Cage, because she has the same ability that her father does, she is able to defeat Shinnok, and she saves the day.
Oh, shit.
And they try to heal him with the corrupted Jinsei. But when Raiden gets out, he is, well, he's edgy Okay, so Mortal Kombat 11 is the time shenanigans game because it turns out that Shinnok, he has a big family, actually. We've never heard about them before. We've never seen them discussed ever. But his mother is Kronika, and Kronika is a Titan, someone who is actually a keeper of time. She is in control of this hourglass that she can use to rewind time and send everything back to square one. She can literally go back to the beginning, to the dawn of time, to remake the world as she sees fit. And she's actually been doing this multiple times, actually. And in every single era that she makes, Raiden keeps fucking things up by destroying her son, Shinnok. And she claims she's not evil, but she's trying to maintain a balance of light and dark, because she also has a daughter, another elder god, known as Cetrion. And Cetrion is supposed to be the god of virtue, and Shinnok is like the evil fallen elder god, so she's got a good child and a himself to trust in the forces of light, because we actually brought the Shirai Ryu back. We actually brought them back to the former glory. So Scorpion shows up and he's kind of like blindsided. But Raiden does not trust the earlier version of Scorpion. He thinks he's an enemy and he goes to kill him. And because he's holding on to Shinnok's amulet, oh, by the way, the dark version of Raiden got like obliterated, and as soon as the time conference happened, because only one version of the god can coexist at the next same time. I don't know why. But anywho, Raiden, he tries to attack Scorpion. Luke sees that, like, no, he came in peace. There's no reason to do this. And Raiden's like, get the fuck out of my way, Liu Kang, or I'm gonna kill you. And Liu Kang decides to cross paths with him. But then Raiden has like a flash. He has a flash that, like, he remembers the events of Mortal Kombat 9 when he fought Liu Kang back in 2. And then he remembers the events of Armageddon when he fought him at the pyramid. And he remembers when he fought him at a subway station. And when he fought him like this. And when he fought him like that. And throughout every era of history, Raiden and Liu Kang have battled each other to the death. When Raiden realizes this, he puts a stop to it immediately and thinks to himself, oh my god, we've done this a million times before. At long last,
Why set me against you?
Is it not obvious? Your combined power threatens life.
Veronica kidnaps Liu Kang, and then she heads back to her base, and she needs a little time to reset her hourglass. So all of the heroes gather their armies. You know, Sub-Zero gets the Lin Kuei, the Shaolin, the Special Forces. Kitana actually battled Shao Kahn and managed to gain all of his forces, even convincing Baraka to serve under her. So now Kitana has all of her outworld forces as well. And there's this big war against all of these Oni and demons from the Netherrealm as they split from the Chronica's base. And Chronica actually uses the Revenant Liu Kang to suck up the soul of the good Liu Kang from the MK9 timeline, thereby making the Revenant version of Liu Kang even more powerful. But Raiden, I guess he's got a special power he's never used before, because he decides
silver trophy out this bitch.
I'm gonna do the one thing she said that she was most afraid of. I'm gonna join forces with Liu Kang. So he grabs the Revenant Liu Kang and he merges and becomes one with him, transforming Liu Kang into Fire God Liu Kang. And now Liu Kang has his MK9 dormant personality back. He's a goody two-shoes again. And he's got the power of himself as well as Raiden, and he is just freaking unstoppable. But because the battle is happening while the hourglass is draining, it takes a little too long because Liu Kang gets his ass kicked a little bit, and it reverts.
Yeah, what's out here? We got it. Alright. On to the challenges. Oh wait, hold up. Right? I didn't even I can still finish all this shit. I ain't gonna move on yet. I think there was still one more up top, right? I swear. Now let's go. I'm sure if I put it back to the other engine, no. Fuck is wrong with y'all idiots, yo? This nigga got a fucking killer bee. How many people got a fucking killer bee in here? How the fuck is my shit not eligible? The fuck is going on? I don't got no fucking upgrades on this thing. Kind of fucking bullshit. Tell me why this shit isn't eligible. Show me. Nah, that's bullshit, yo. Fucking show me why the fuck this shit ain't eligible, yo.
the way back to the dawn of time. Time has rewound all the way to the beginning of the universe.
Yo, yo.
But still, Liu Kang is successful and he kills Kronika. He enlists the help of Shiva and he resurrects Sindel, and he does end up getting the crown away from Cetrion, who grabbed it originally, and now they have the crown. But the thing is, behind the scenes, he is secretly orchestrating with Shao Kahn and Sindel to destroy the forces of light and to get some power lines for himself. And people are really pissed off because Mortal Kombat 11, it establishes what we already knew. Shao Kahn defeating Kronika, taking the crown for himself, and he's about to completely remake the universe in his image when Liu Kang shows up and lets him know that, oh, actually, Shang Tsung, I've been watching this whole entire time. I knew you were going to betray everybody. I planned it. I'm just going to reset the timer and do everything that after I defeat you. And Shang Tsung's like, you're up, bitch, because the player character could choose me. And that's actually true. At the end, the decision comes, the player can decide
Laps, the fuck?
I'm sorry, I have to talk about
Oh, hell no.
to play the newest game in the series, and you don't want the story spoiled for you, and perhaps you should turn the video off or skip to the conclusion section. This will come to the legend. This will get really nutty. Okay, so Liu Kang remakes the world with his image, but they didn't really redefine how the dragon can operate, because Scorpion and Sub-Zero are now brothers. Behind is Sub-Zero, and finally in is Scorpion. Yeah, Scorpion is a member of the Lin Kuei, and he is quite hidden. He is not Hanzo Hasashi, so you can probably change how that works. Sindel had two daughters. She had Kitana, and she had Marina. Marina is no longer a clone of Kitana. She is actually her sister. Amaka is no longer a nomadic mutant, a savage who just kills people for certain crime. Now she's an honest merchant who has been infected with this disease called tuberculosis.
Wow, okay.
It makes people go bald and then loses the laser teeth and loses skeleton arms, and that's how it happens to get this disease. And unfortunately, Marina has also caught this disease, and it's only thanks to Shang Tsung's serum that she's able to cure the instances of tuberculosis and go back to normal every reality. But she is infected with tuberculosis, and that is why she still is vicious, sadistic, crazy Marina that we all know and love every now and then when she's fighting DC. We can't name it so that Shang Tsung was a pathetic snake oil salesman who could never gain any real power, and that Shao Kahn never became Han. He never became the conqueror who destroys and conquers the world. No, he's just a royal general. He's just a loyal servant to Queen Sindel, who now rules over the outworld. She did argue with President Jared, but then Jared was assassinated. We don't know who the assassin is. We just know that everyone believes Li Mei, a constable of Outworld, is a bad person because she failed to protect Jared. She's disgraced. How dare you, Li Mei? Why didn't you save Jared? There is a new villain who is basically taking the place of what Liu Kang used to be. Because now Liu Kang is the protector of Earthrealm. Now he's the villain that everybody talks and listens to. And this new Raven is a normal human being who has a lightning medallion that gives him electricity.
You
He
fuck.
got that by winning the preliminaries to compete in the Mortal Kombat tournaments. You know what? I shouldn't reveal too much about the details of the lore of this newest game. What I gotta talk about is the development. What I gotta talk about are the villains. Because Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, they are building this dragon army. Sound familiar? And they are listening to this woman who calls herself Damashi. Sound familiar?
What I want, Shang Tsung, is to elevate you, to make you the great sorcerer that now you can only pretend to be.
Oh my god, Veronica's back. I thought we killed her. She gives Shang Tsung power, teaches him how to steal souls, how to shapeshift, how to do all of his dark, evil things that he used to do before Liu Kang reached the timeline. And she gives Quan Chi the ability to do his necromancy shit and create tornadoes and whatnot. Damashi is revealed to actually be Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat 11. How's that possible? You see at the end of MK11, when the player has to make a choice over who to win,
fucking crazy, yo.
Is unkillable. Oh my god.
That's fucking crazy, yo.
Back in August, I did a video on stage for why? Because I wanted to gush about the fact that Kojima was demonstrating how great the game is for stage and live. Oh yeah, we're all talking about Stage Straight and Green Data, and I'm over here thinking about the fact that unboxing ain't the real good one. Unboxing Dinosaur, which is supposed to be a fun one. And I'm like, hell. But then something crazy happened. don't know anything about these characters. See, this franchise started in the arcade, and those games were specifically designed to be...
We get a break for a break, some shit.
They needed the attract mode to show passersby the gameplay. And the AI had to be ball-bustingly hard so that if we wanted to see the little bit of lore that was there, we had to fork up all of our quarters. When these games came to consoles, they didn't really change much. Sometimes the manuals would have character biographies that told you what was up, and other times they instead listed special moves. Street Fighter III had a completely new cast of characters whose backstories were just completely hidden away. Why is the final boss a red and blue angel man? Heck if I know. Things have improved a lot with the newer games, but even then, it is still asking the player to check every source available. If you start up Street Fighter IV with Cammy, it doesn't explain who the girl in the hospital bed is, because the answer to that question is in the Super Street Fighter IV OVA. Duh! More so than the Tekken video, I had to bust my ass to connect all of these story threads. Watching each ending in every single game, cross-referencing with multiple biographies, having to consult goddamn victory quotes. I spent hours checking every single win quote on the wikis just to see if I could get some extra clarification. That's seriously what we're dealing with here. I did my best, and this video will be covering everything about the mainline Street Fighter universe. I will not be talking about the spin-offs like Marvel vs. Capcom, nor am I going to talk about the EX games, which basically operate in their own weird continuity. Keep in mind that this video was being worked on in May of 2023 and was intended to upload with the release of Street Fighter 6. As such, I will not be spoiling that game's plot because I haven't played it yet. This video is intended to be complimentary because you can think of it as a primer, something to bring you up to speed. And yes, I still call this the insane lore because Street Fighter is very, very insane. So, without further ado, let's talk about the insane lore of Street Fighter. Okay, where do we begin? Well, we should definitely start with the Shotos. Once upon a time in Japan, there was a martial artist named Gotetsu. He was a master of the fighting style Ensetsuken. Anyone who utilizes this style will be able to punch really high, summon energy to shoot and spin around in the air like they just don't care. This technique would be passed on to his two apprentices, the brothers Goken and Goki, the latter being renamed Akuma here in the West. And if for some reason you exclusively play Tekken, yes, this character is originally from Street Fighter. One day, Goken managed to discover a little boy, an orphan who was all alone with no one to look after him. That boy's name was Ryu. Goken adopts the boy, eventually hoping to pass on Gotetsu's teachings. Anyway, things were going pretty well until Akuma learned of a special ability that his master never used.
Alright, shit, let me know.
The killing intent. See, Ensetsuken is also known as the Assassin's Fist. It's a martial art that can be used to kill people, which makes it especially vulnerable to attack. If the desire to end your opponent is high enough, there's a good chance you can capture the energy source that will make you use much. However, someone chooses to do this, lose their humanity and Gotetsu did warn his students of the danger inherent, but Akuma did not care. For him, to take on new challengers, and he is always looking towards self-improvement. That being said, he's kind of a bum. He doesn't own a house, he doesn't have a car, not even a change of clothes.
You some kind of karate man or something?
Something like that.
The only money this guy is making is with the occasional odd job, like being a bouncer. But most of the time, he's only earning money through street fighting competitions. This guy's two special abilities are being able to sleep wherever he wants and hitchhiking. Hitchhiking! I didn't even know that was a skill one could excel at. He doesn't care about the latest technology. He doesn't want a pair of shoes. The only thing he needs to spend money on is food and/or plane tickets. Wait, Ryu has a passport?
Just like $10 to upgrade.
He's always keeping up to date with the street fighting scene, and this alerts him to the existence of the first ever Street Fighter tournament. A special event inviting warriors from all over the world to try and Okay, so the first game in the series is very different from the rest. For one thing, it only has two playable characters, both of which Ryu and Ken are main characters. And technically, Ken's appearance is 100% not canon, because he never participated in these tournaments. He was too busy handling character development. The game is completely centered around Ryu, so luckily it's pretty easy to compare. He finds himself flying all over the world to fight other participants and to go tournaments. Guys like the American Joe. He exists. And then there's the boxer Mike, who's absolutely not found wrong despite what his Japanese name would have you believe. There's an old monk named Retsu, a ninja named Genki, and two English bouncers named Eagle and Birdie. There might be a third guy named Lobo. He presents the more sophisticated and lesser known fighter. The guy makes one other appearance in Street Fighter Alpha 3, but only in the PSP version. A very narrow window of recognizing this guy. Birdie, this guy pops up quite a bit. He's a pro wrestler who was kicked out of the league for cheating and for being overly violent. Oh yeah, this is wrestling. Wrestling is super real in Street Fighter universe. No predetermined matches in this shit. But anywho, Birdie is the fun according to the
You fuck!
This character doesn't really return as a fighter, but he does have two nephews who are in Also in China, again in the watch from the fact that someone this character has actually mastered emerging victorious over the once unbeatable champion. Against all odds, Ryu wins the Street Fighter tournament. Little does he know, however, the outcome of this match would have a major ramifications. And now, he's under the attention of Shadow. Whoa, time out. I'm sorry, I can't quite talk about the sequel yet because I have to take a detour and address another Capcom franchise. First, let's talk about Final Fight. Final Fight is a beat-em-up game released in 1989 that stars a completely different cast of characters. The events of this game take place in Metro City, which is essentially an alternate version of New York City. But it's used natural river, it's got its own Times Square, everything about the aesthetics is just which makes it all the more funny that New York still exists in this universe. Apparently, it's just across the river from Mexico City. But there is one major difference between the two locations, and that's in the game's environment. Metro City is plagued with crime, which is caused by the notorious Mad Gear Gang. Headed by a man named Belger, but they lack in strength and couldn't make up for it in numbers. So one day decides to throw his hat into the political ring, and he can become the mayor of the streets. That man is Michael Manhart, a former professional wrestler who is single-handedly going to punch all of their crime away. By the way, his wrestling career is connected with another Capcom spin-off, Muscle Rock, aka the Saturday Night Slam Master. He's not the only cameo, as you can see Chuck Lee watching the fight on the left side of the arena. But anywho, Mike Haggard does indeed become the mayor of Metro City, and he prepares to clean up the streets so that his daughter Jessica can become the police. Although she does have a bodyguard of sorts, because she is dating a street fighter named Bang Shroud. An extremely formidable combatant, this guy also has a ninja for a best friend, a guy named Guy. Guy was born in America but grew up in Japan. As a boy, he was taken by a man named Deku, who was the 39th generation master of Bushinryu. This fighting style gave Guy the speed and sneakiness needed to smash foes with ease. After failing his first exams, Guy returns to Metro City, hoping a little street fighting will help him hone his skills. That's where he meets Kobe, as well as a girl named Reina, who Guy falls in love with and proposes to. Anyway, the game kicks off with Mike Haggard and his already awesome. First up, the other man, Matt Gear named Dave. Yeah, look at this competition. You gotta get cooperation. What? What's happened to Jessica? I think your job difficult. Just let us do as we please, like the man. You just made me understand why. Haggard pulls up Cody and Guy, and it isn't just a private club. The mayor of Metro City rips off his shirt and just starts pile driving with the cars until he gets it dominated. If you're asking why he didn't get help from the police,
Fuck you!
pocket. Also trust your fists. Police will never help you. You guys trash all the enemies. After taking their Sonic, oh my god, this freaking guy. Do you know the definition of a weeb? Even the pricing term for a non-Japanese person who is so obsessed with Japanese culture that they wish they were Japanese.
Fucking piece of
Misfits
fucking
Sodom
shit.
to a T. He actually refers to the Mad Gear Gang as Mono-Gia. Upon meeting the man, Guy gets to be threatened at the embarrassing caricature that he has made himself. Then they meet Rolento, a military man who used to belong to the Red Berets. A weapon expert who loves the thrill of combat, Rolento believes that he is destined to create the ultimate army. A nation built by soldiers for soldiers. Of course, in order to build an army, you need recruits, and that's why he joined the Mad Gear Gang. gender is unknown. Make of that what you will. And the last gang member I have to mention is Abigail, who despite the clothes and physique, is not a member of the Andorre family. No, instead of hailing from Germany, Abigail hails from Canada. And you know, despite being a franchise that features warriors from all over the world, Abigail is the only Canadian. What the hell? This is our representation? A roided out Hulkman who wears tires as armbands? Ah, I'll take what I can get. Anyway, these characters are all going to feature heavily in the Street Fighter games. As for Final Fight itself, the trio of heroes bust some heads, make it up to Belger's penthouse, and then they knock the motherfucker out of plate glass window to his death. The mayor just murdered a man, good lord! Hagar saves his daughter and manages to quell the mad mayor gang. We cut to Final Fight 2 where Cody and Jessica go on vacation, and Guy returns to Japan to complete his training. And then Hagar learns that the mad mayor gang are still no good, but this time they have kidnapped Guy's fiancée Reina, which spurs her sister Maki to ask the mayor for help. Another stupid Goku Shinju, Maki doesn't feel a fighter in Street Fighter 3. Again, like Evil, who's only both Evil and Maki originally believed have powers of their real. She's a clone. Whatever you say, game, I'll just take your word for it. Killer Bee was a test tube baby.
Killer Bee, yo, that's crazy.
Labs, the one who stood out amongst the rest. And like the other dolls, she is Bison's go-to girl when it comes to retrieving data and assassinations. You can only imagine how much death and destruction Killer Bee has caused. Along with the dolls, Bison also hired some ruthless fighters to be his enforcers, to stand on top of the mountain as his fellow kings. First up is Balrog, a boxer from Las Vegas. This guy is a dirty fighter with one hell of a punch. This guy is so strong, he's been known to knock out elephants. Freaking elephants! He is so vicious and deadly that the boxing league wants nothing to do with him. Since he's too intimidating to make money the normal way, he gladly accepts Shadaloo's offer to punch out their enemies. And finally we have Vega, a Spaniard who mastered the art of ninjutsu. This guy has serious mental issues. He is a narcissist who believes himself to be the most beautiful creature on the planet. As a child, his mother instilled upon him the belief that beauty was above all else. In Vega's twisted world, anything that's ugly deserves to die. He prefers to wear a mask and claw to battle, not only to protect his beautiful face, but also to keep a good distance away from the ugly prey he'll no doubt be cutting to pieces. Make no mistake, this guy is one of the strongest characters in Street Fighter. And now that I've introduced all of the Shadaloo Kings, I want to mention the fact that you shouldn't confuse Balrog with Mike, even though his Japanese name is M. Bison. Mike Bison, Mike Tyson. You get it? You get it? See, in 1991, I guess Capcom decided that associating the boxer with the actual controversial man, Mike Tyson, might be a little awkward. So they decided to rearrange all of the Shadaloo King names so that the boxer became Balrog, which was originally Vega's name, and the Spanish ninja became Vega, which was originally the dictator's name, and then the dictator became M. Bison. So yeah, whenever you go to an international fighting tournaments where people from all kinds of countries are battling, they usually just refer to the three fighters as Boxer, Claw, and Dictator. Because the games have not changed their names, and I live in Canada, I will still be referring to the Boxer as Balrog, I will still be referring to the Dictator as M. Bison, and that's just how it's gonna be. You're just gonna have to roll with that, okay? Okay. No connection to the Street Fighter 1 character. They were never supposed to be the same guy, apparently, according to Capcom. So, yeah, now you know. With all these assassins and kidnappers and muscle, Shadaloo has tightened its grip on the world. They've secretly infiltrated multiple military forces and taken out any law enforcement that dare investigate them. One Chinese Interpol officer named Dorai was hot on the heels of Shadaloo, himself a skilled fighter thanks to his friendship with a certain Gen the Invincible. But unfortunately, he couldn't overcome the odds, and one day, he disappeared. Permanently. He left behind a daughter who would follow in his footsteps. Chun-Li. Trained by her father in martial arts, she joins up with Interpol in order to discover what happened to him. Originally, she participated in street fighting just to get information on her cases, but the more she did it, the more she realized how enjoyable it felt. It wouldn't take long for her to earn the title of the strongest woman in the world. And on the military side, two men became aware of corruption in the U.S. Air Force and decided to start looking for evidence. Charlie Nash and William Guile, best friends who really need to fire their barber. Look at that hair, man! I can accept the fact that Guile is so patriotic that he got 2 American flag tattoos, but geez, that broom on your head! You're a strange fellow, Guile. Thanks to their efforts of taking the fight to Shadaloo, they get acquainted with Chun-Li and decide to cooperate together. Meanwhile, you remember Birdie, the English bouncer guy? Well, it turns out the reason he started street fighting was to gain the attention of Shadaloo. This guy is either really brave or really stupid because he decides to meet up with M. Bison and demand a job. The two have a battle, and while Birdie is nowhere near the Dictator's league, he at least leaves an impression.
You are strong. Okay, I'll accept you as a member of Shadaloo.
And so Birdie ends up joining. Although this will turn out to not be the dream position that he was hoping for. You know who was never a part of Shadaloo? The Russian professional wrestler, Zangief. Well, actually, his name is pronounced Zangief, but I've been calling him the Geef since I was 6 years old, and it's really hard to break that habit, okay? This guy, though, holy. The man is pure muscle. Zangief worships muscles so much that he believes they are the most beautiful thing in the world.
Drop dead! Muscle! It was nice, sir.
Reminder, Balrog has knocked out elephants! This man is so fucking strong that he can actually survive bladed weapons.
When heartburn hits, reach for Tums and love food back.
Unbummer your summer with a deal from Priceline Summer Sale.
Here's why you need to go to Slumberland to buy yourself a Tempur-Pedic mattress. It's got proprietary Tempur material. I used to get a lot of backing, but now I don't process them like I used to. I love that this has cool to the touch material. It's like a beautiful cloud wrapping you up. Stop by a Slumberland to learn more.
Guess what? Experian Boost is even better, because now my monthly insurance payments, my streaming payments, my rent payments, even my phone payments can raise my credit scores instantly, free.
More ways to build credit. Download the Experian app.
That's incredible!
Muscle is stronger than blade.
Don't listen to him, kids. You do not want to get stabbed. Zangief is a freak of nature who loves to pile drive people. He spins around so fast that people call him the Red Cyclone. So as you can imagine, ring. This earned the attention of the Russian president, Mikhail Gorbachev. And I know what you're thinking. Haha, Clement made a jokey joke. No, I'm serious. It is Gorbachev. Capcom has an official lore website for Street Fighter. It's called the Shadaloo Research Institute. It was very helpful in making this video. And as I was scrolling through the dozens of profiles, I noticed that Gorbachev is listed here. This is real. They did this. The former Russian president is canon to the Street Fighter universe. When Zangief beats Street Fighter 2, they both do the Cossack dance. This is goddamn wild. So while Zangief was busy wrestling bears in the mountains of Siberia, Gorbachev asks him if he'd be willing to do his country proud by taking out Shadaloo. The Red Cyclone happily accepts because he loves Mother Russia, and Bison needs to be taken down a peg. Ignore what Wreck-It Ralph told you. Zangief was never a bad guy. How dare you lie in the presence of our Lord and Master, Dr. Eggman? Moving from one weirdo to another, let's talk about Dalsim. In India lives a practitioner of yoga. That's it, he's just good at yoga. And after mastering yoga, Dalsim gained the ability to stretch his body. His arms go big, his legs go big, he can wrap himself up in a pretzel. I've heard of being limber, but this is friggin' ridiculous. He can float in the air. I'm not sure how, but he can. Oh, also, he can teleport. Yeah, if he's in Japan and he decides, I want to visit New York, boom, instantly. No plane ticket required. You want another crazy ability? Well, guess what? He can read people's minds. He's like Professor X. He can just go into your head and learn whatever he wants. And finally, because he prays to the god of fire, Agni, Dalsim can also shoot fire out of his mouth. Sure, why not? Now, Dalsim is a pacifist by nature, which would beg the question of why he's street fighting. Well, it's a great way to make money, as it turns out, and when his village succumbs to plague and illness, this is the only solution that Dalsim has: to fight and buy medicine for his people. And doing so makes him a hero to everyone in the village, including his wife Sally and their newborn son, Data. But because he has reached a higher plane of enlightenment, he becomes aware of the evil that Shadaloo is doing. Sensing something apocalyptic in our future, he goes out seeking M. Bison.
Speaking of, you remember how he had an apprentice, an Italian woman named Rose? Well, Rose is a fortune teller who can also predict the future. Using the power of tarot cards, she also becomes aware of Bison's evil. Since she uses soul energy, she feels she's the best person for the job when it comes to taking him down, even if she has to sacrifice her own life to do so. Man, there's a lot of people gunning for this guy, including Guy. While training with his master, Zeku imparts a mantra to his students. When he who would bring chaos to the world appears, the shadows of Bushi shall be there. Thinking back on this statement, while Bushi was ordered and shadows are there, he connects the dots. In order to be a true Shinryu, he must vanquish the evil. He must vanquish Bison. And after all of these character introductions, I can finally return to our main protagonist. Ryu had defeated the god in the first ever Street Fighter tournament. And while there was cause for celebration, he still accomplished this in a very scary way. He vowed to get a son from Ohana, and this demonic urge can affect even him with a terrifying process. Unless you're Akuma, in which case this is the challenge he's been looking for. In search of his master's killer, Ryu manages to discover an isolated island with a shrine inside. There, he is confronted by Akuma. After an exchange of blows, the Dark Warrior tells Ryu that the two have the same power. When the evil intent awakens within you, then you will know. All these past battles will seem like child's play. And then Akuma just straight up punches the ground so hard that the island itself sinks into the sea. Oh yeah! This character is often a secret boss for players who play arcade mode like an expert. He deserves that position. Akuma is strong enough to split mountains apart. He once swam through the ocean and spin-kicked a submarine in half. The man is so mighty that he was made an extra boss in Capcom's Asura's Wrath, a hypercharged game about literal gods. He's, a bit OP. Well, I say that, but he does have his struggles with one particular fighter. The man of 120 battles, yes. Akuma confronted him since he has quite the reputation, and according to the biographies of Street Fighter 30th Anniversary, Yen apparently beat Akuma. Yeah, this is to get this all too well at Yen's ending, where the old Chinese master can't bring himself to deliver the killing blow. Because for Yen, this was the best fight of his whole entire life. And if he were to finish off Akuma, he'd never get stronger and deliver a fantastic rematch. Akuma very much loves the challenge, so of course, these two will again. It should also be mentioned that since Yen trained Chun-Li's father, he also tries to look out for his daughter. But they don't interact nearly enough to have much of a story there. But anyway, news of the Street Fighter tournament reaches a lot of people. Ken Masters has been busy claiming the trophy of the All-American Martial Arts Tournament and thus earning the moniker of the King of American Fighters. That's right, Ken is the King of Fighters. Hey, Contra! Get with him! But despite all of his success, seeing that Ryu managed to triumph over the unbeatable Sagat, Ken gets the urge to return to Japan.
You fight well, but why do you fight?
I fight because there's a man I have to defeat. Until that day comes, I won't ever stop.
Oh, and the girl Ken's talking to is Eliza. Their first meeting goes pretty well as he ends up dating her. But Ken manages to reunite with Ryu and challenges him to a match. Going all out, the King of American
that
Fighters
bullshit. That shit was
scores
getting
the
annoying.
victory.
Peace.
But it's not quite what Ken was expecting.